All right, so you are WeskuhPlayuh with 3.7k hours, which is pretty good. Pretty good. 1k hours is where I expect most people to know most of their micro play, pressure gens well, pressure the map well, have quick, efficient chases. Playing Trickster, which despite being a stronger character, is way more. They've kind of blighted him, where they took away something. They took away a lot of his complexity and made him really, really simple. Now you just kind of like hold W at people and main event till they're dead. Which is, you know, while not particularly skillful, is technically better in a lot of ways. You're on Nostromo, which is for a map. The map is rectangular shaped, and there's a lot of like high walls and stuff. I don't think that's a particularly good map for Trickster. If you're looking for someone who mains Trickster, who is excellent wealth of information about the character, Revium's fantastic. That's who I watch to try and get all my Trickster information. So yeah, let's take a look at add-ons and
Like Billy got buffed. I don't remember the last time I like actually lost a fucking game of it.
Okay, so in terms of your add-ons and your perks, your add-ons, the brown blades are great. That's what you should be running. That is probably the add-on that Trickster mains like the most now. USB is fine, but and especially in tandem with like the darkness revealed that you have over there. So your add-ons are okay. Other options like trick blades as well, another great option, opens up a lot of possible hits that you wouldn't have gotten before. In terms of your perks, your build is like a perfectly well-rounded build. Darkness Revealed is a great info perk that synergizes with your power. You got Painter's Corrupt, which are both excellent slowdown perks, and you got Bamboozle just for that little bit extra of anti-chase. If there's one thing I would remove from the build, maybe Bam, but like it's still a good pick. It's just kind of like you are already an anti-chase killer. But like Bam helps you shut down really strong windows, so like even that's not bad. So yeah.
Billy. Like it's not even easy. It's just like people either don't know how to play against him.
It's true.
Or I just feel like I'm fucking pub stomping. Hello.
A lot of people still haven't adjusted to overdrive Billy. Normal Billy, I still see people kind of like know how to play against, but overdrive Billy, people have no sense of how to play against yet still.
Young lady?
Yeah, like it's like that on Xenomorph too, is that like you have a ton of anti-window utility, but like God windows are still troublesome for you, so having something to shut it down is very helpful. Same way on Xenomorph. I know you're kind of like chucking knives so far. You're not like really trying to hit, you're just kind of like throwing.
I can't do that.
Because you gotta understand that like with Trickster, like, you know, it's just like with Huntress, right? Like if you're a reload character, then you have to go to a locker to get your perk back, or you get your power back. So if you're just kind of like throwing until you're out of your power, just willy-nilly, that's more downtime because you're having to go and reload, and match time's gen time. So you're giving them a lot of time on gens by kind of just like shooting willy-nilly and not trying to go for accuracy. Because I noticed even when she's like fully behind a wall, you're still chucking knives. So I'm not sure why you're doing that.
Washed. Good God.
Yeah, she's like fully behind the wall. There's not gonna be a chance for you to hit that. So you shouldn't just be like...
Somebody. It's not even distortion. They just weren't near a locker, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I would keep on her. Good. I wouldn't have done this where I went to the... Yeah, I just would have kept Wing at her. You're 115 now. You're like Trickster used to be 110, but Trickster is 115 now. So you don't really play him that old way where like you could go for like trick shots and like far away knife shots. You're kind of like a W them down kind of character. That's kind of like what you do. So I would have just kept following her. Willy-nilly knife throwing. Yeah.
Should have ultimate, right? There it is.
I like how you call it all. That's how I know you play MOBAs and stuff. That's funny. Or at least Overwatch. People still consider Overwatch a MOBA, even though it's so like such a mix of the two concepts of FPS and MOBA.
Just running. Running to run. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you get your first down. See, the first part of this is intro. So you get your first down almost 2 minutes into the game. keep in mind that a gen is by itself with no additions, no extra like add-ons, perks, items, just 90 seconds start to finish. So spending 2 full minutes without a down is not excellent.
Fucking last game, I was just.
No, it's considered FPS. I know some people were like, "Oh, it's a MOBA hybrid or something like that." Oh, it's MOBA, and I'm like, it's a little bit more complicated than that. I don't know if I'd really consider it a MOBA. I think MOBA. I think of like Dota 2. I think of League. I see what they're saying, but like I'm with you where I'm like, no, it's more of an FPS. Yeah, somebody asked if we were gonna cancel the match reviews because of the state of the game. I was like, no, we'll still do them.
Sure. I guess in range there.
Happens to me all the time where I get stunned super far away and I'm get super frustrated. Yeah, you just had a really rough start. I've been told this by people that play reload characters, that'd be Huntress, Deathslinger, or Trickster, is typically reloading after the hook is the play, and not like.
Yeah, that's why.
Not during, because you just wasted your Darkness Revealed and put it on cooldown just to reload, which is you could have used that to find them and start your next chase, but you just like wasted it super early. You're also not going for pain res hooks, I'm not sure why. Like, you have the strongest slowdown in the game and you're not really going for any. You're just kind of like picking up hooking without paying attention. Long-hair Vittorio looks so cool.
I don't think I missed a blade.
Yeah, you're just kind of like just chucking knives regardless of if they're behind an object or not. One of the biggest pieces of advice I ever got from Rev with like Trickster is like, don't ready and throw knives unless you're convinced you're gonna get the hits, or else it's just better to just like hold W at them. But you kind of just like throw knives at people even if they're like fully behind walls, which is not only wasting your ammunition, forcing you to reload, but it's also like just giving them distance on you.
I love this weapon. It's probably my favorite.
Probably my favorite on his too.
Who was it? Rebecca? Did I waste that painters?
You get your first pain res halfway through the game. You use your first stack of the strongest slowdown in the game halfway through. That should not be the case.
What the fuck is this guy's movement?
Everybody's movement's questionable with this patch. Everything's just all out of whack, you just kind of like throw. Like, I get that Trickster's whole thing is like, covering, like he's supposed to be like the inaccurate range killer that you just like pelt them until it works, but you kind of just like you're leaning a little bit too far into the fact that like you're just not caring at all about accuracy.
I'm sure she had a great time. I could barely see her. I must be hitting the same gen because I haven't heard a single.
The exact same country. I had that country at one point too. That's not the one we have for Will.
Darkness revealed.
I had that one for my old cats though.
Hello. She's pulling. It's like 50. I don't need to.
Yeah, you gotta stop throwing knives at people when they're fully behind walls.
On here, was there? Was that 3 hits?
Yeah, you're just like wasting knives.
Dude, not having dance shoes is so fucking irritating.
Yeah, yeah, that's why I recommended at the beginning for that reason. Like, I get that you're like, it seems like, you're like, well, this is a bad map for me because of all the high walls and stuff, and it's frustrating, which it is, but you're also like kind of being stubborn about it and just like, I'm just gonna throw the knives at him anyway. Hopefully some of these hit. Oh, that would have hit me. I also would have been upset. You should also reload here, especially with USB. Yeah.
Okay, she's smart enough.
Yeah.
Is there a pallet here? No. You don't make that. Reload.
And once again, you're counting down your darkness revealed. You're wasting your darkness revealed.
From the new set.
Yeah, it's not even necessary. It's not that you're like wasting it, but like you're
Also got the bug.
It'd be better to hook her, reload. That way you can immediately act on the information
Just trying to see.
instead of like
Tell if the pistons are moving.
reloading before and then just going, okay, well, they're over there, which would give them time to potentially move and go somewhere else and make the information inaccurate. It's also just better practice in general to reload after the hook.
Destroyed.
Like I was saying earlier, because not only just for like the use of darkness revealed, but also because if there's like a background player or like a flashbang flashlight save person around, it gives them time to get into position or give the time for the survivor to like fall under a pallet for a pallet save. Like it's just generally better to hook than reload in most cases.
I'm fucking dumb.
Not dumb.
Oh, she's not camping this pallet? Frey son. I was gonna walk through that.
I think you're falling for... Yeah. You also need to get somebody dead here. You need somebody dead in Jet ago. I know you're probably chasing her for pain res stacks, but like, yeah.
Adrenaline.
Yeah.
Played.
Yeah, that's what... Yeah, Triple and I had the same brain thought at like the same time. Like, hey, don't chase a completely fresh person at this point in the match.
Oh my god, she can get another loop. Or if she just like...
Yeah.
Fucks up her pathing. Strange. The Bloodlust 2. Not even 110 anymore.
Well, us too. Electric Boogaloo.
Oh, that's unfortunate. With the body block she gets out. Yeah. I think I got enough people. Right? I should have gotten my...
All right, so in terms of what you could have done better, in terms of your main takeaways, first main takeaway is I understand that Trickster is in terms of ranged killers, the one you play if you don't want to be fully accurate, but you were very much inaccurate with your shots. Like there was almost every chase that you used your power in, there'd be plenty of instances where the survivor was like fully behind the wall, and for some reason you just kept like throwing knives at the wall. And I don't know, like, it just seemed like almost kind of autopilot-y, if that makes sense. Like, it just seemed like you kind of were like, yeah, it just seemed like an autopilot decision because you just kept throwing knives, even though there was like zero chance of them hitting when they were behind a tall wall. I understand that Nostromo has a lot of those and that makes it a bad map for you, but it seems like you were almost like stubborn and didn't want to deal with that. So you just kept throwing the knives anyway, which, like I said, lowers your knife count, which then makes you reload more often, which gets you out of chase and match times gen time. So all that wasted time adds up on gens in the background. And you did it almost every chase. So all of your chases were kind of bloated in terms of chase time because of that. So I would definitely, as Trickster, like still focus on accuracy, not try to like waste like 5 or 6 knives at a wall if somebody runs behind a wall, because that does add up over time. Second, you have the strongest slowdown in the game with pain res, but you actively don't go out of your way to hook people on pain res hooks until like halfway through the match, which is not good. So essentially they got a very massive head start on you in terms of gen pressure because you weren't actively trying to get pain res hooks. Like most of the time I noticed up until like that like 4 or 5 minute mark, every time you went to hook somebody, you just picked them up and just slammed them on the nearest hook, and you'd even like your camera didn't even like pan around to look for the pain res hooks. So like you just kind of weren't getting value out of literally the best slowdown in the game. So that's something that you could have done better. There was a third one, and it wasn't the get somebody out one, because that's a foregone conclusion. That's a lot of these. That's a lot of these I say for the match reviews is get your death hit gamers out, which you definitely didn't. You were definitely like trying to chase like Yunjin at the end there. You should be going for Rebecca or Yui, people that you had already hooked. So that's a given. There was another one I noticed that I was like, you probably shouldn't be doing that, and I forget what it was. You never used BAM once either. I noticed like like there was plenty of like vaults that you could have went through, like the 4-lane, like in the main building, and you just never used your bamboozle like literally ever. And I think that we could throw that in technically with the second one, but it's like you kind of don't really get a whole lot of value out of your perks. I remember what the third one was. but like you don't use BAM at all, which is funny. So it's just kind of like you just played a game with 3 perks. The third takeaway, the one that I was trying to recall, was that you were reloading and then picking up after downs, which not only is not something you typically want to do just as like a general like playstyle choice, because it gives background players and flashlight savers, flashbang players time to get into position. It allows the survivor's potential to crawl under a pallet, but also you have darkness revealed, so essentially you were just like prematurely constantly activating your darkness revealed and making it to where your information was not as helpful for you because you just activated it way too early for you to actually act on that aura reading. You did it consistently, so it is, once again, it seemed like you were just kind of not getting the most out of your perks all the way down the line. Like almost every every perk you bring, you don't get the most value out of. Pain res, you don't get value out of until like halfway through the game. Corrupt is just corrupt. Corrupt is you down somebody too early, get punished for it. It's not really your fault, but bam, you don't use it all. And Darkness Revealed, you were activating too early to get value out of it. So you're kind of like, your playstyle was directly at odds with your perks. So those would be the 3 main ones I would focus on.